I'm a territory business manager from the Western region at Sharp, and I know that you guys have had a very, very busy week. You've had webinars, you've had cookie lessons, trivia, more webinars, you had a concert. I still want one of those burgers from the chef myself, and all I can say is, wow, you guys had some very, very powerful events, so it's been a big week. To that point, I can't thank you enough for choosing to spend your time this morning with CopyLink and Sharp. We at Sharp are proud to partner with CopyLink in the San Diego area, as they have been a long time award-winning dealer with Sharp. When you walk into their conference room, you are literally surrounded by the Hakam and Kai awards that they've won year after year after year. And what that shows is that they are doing the right things today, but they've also been consistently doing the right things in the past for their customers. And it shows over the multiple matrix that we look at. Additionally, CopyLink has earned the platinum level service dealer award. And what this means is it puts CopyLink in the top 20% of all Sharp dealers across the United States, providing service for you and your technology. So over the next hour and 15 minutes, we will be giving you an overview of how CopyLink can give you tools for compliance, productivity, ease of use, and of course, security. First, we'll hear from Judy Adams, manager of CopyLink, and then we'll hear from Sharp's own technology integration managers, Chad Goyette, and senior technology information manager, Frank Flamond. Their goal is to show you the power and the simplicity of our technology and how it will help you and your firm be more efficient and secure. So thank you very much. Feel free to use the chat session for any questions you may have. And Judy, I'm going to hand this on over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan, for joining us. So this, as we all know, this is more than just a copier. Let your office technology be your security guard. So we wanted to, through the presentation, talk about the different security features we have, a little bit about CopyLink and how we got involved with doing the benefit member contract with the San Diego County Bar Association. So in 2018, we began conversations with the San Diego County Bar Association to become benefit providers. And why we have a few folks from Sharp on this webinar is because it couldn't have happened without our partnership with Sharp. They're our main manufacturer. We're an authorized dealer of Sharp. And CopyLink has actually been in business since 1990. So this is our 30th year anniversary. So we're very, very proud of that. CopyLink is a Sharp Platinum level service provider. We have master technicians on staff, exceptional customer service, and thousands of happy customers. We also have several clients in the legal space that are more than willing to do testimonials for us. So if that's something that you'd want after the fact, we would be more than happy to provide that. With the benefit partner program, we vetted the pricing. We met with the technology group at the Bar Association. We went through pricing, we went through service agreements, our commitment on training. We're doing on-site training, and a lot of that will take place at the bar when the bar reopens. We do copiers, printers, interactive whiteboards, and CopyLink. The thing that I'm most proud of with CopyLink is we're really big partners in the community. And we love sharing stories and helping each other, and it's all about relationships, and we are just completely blessed to have a relationship with the San Diego County Bar Association. So having said that, and to once again thank our partners at Sharp, because if you get CopyLink, you also get all these partners to provide technical support and anything else that you need to help your law firm run smoother. So now I'm going to turn it over to Frank Flamond, who's going to go over a little bit about Sharp technology.
Thank you, Judy. Again, my name is Frank Flamond. I am the Senior Technology Integration Manager for Sharp Corporation. I've been with Sharp for 18 years, so it's been a long time talking about Sharp technology, which is a good thing. And with me is my partner in crime, and color commentator for today, Chad Goyette. You want to kind of introduce yourself, Chad?
Sure. Thank you very much. I'm Chad Goyette. I'm an Associate Technology Integration Manager I've been in this industry for 23 years. I'm in my 7th year with Sharp, and I'm with Sharp because I just absolutely love the technology and being able to work with fantastic dealers like CopyLink. So I'll be here to kind of do rim shots for Frank and answer any of the questions you might have. If you want to do it through chat, I will be taking care of that.
Okay, thanks, Chad.
Sure.
So before I get into the technology, I want to kind of talk about, if you don't mind, a little bit. Well, let me go to the agenda first. So we just did the introduction. One of the things I do want to talk about is a company called Foxconn. Who is Foxconn? It's pretty important for Sharp, and I'll go over that here in a second. I kind of want a little bit talk about our awards. Usually I don't talk about awards, but this particular award is a big award I wanted to talk about here in a second. I wanted to also talk about Sharp differentiators. What makes us different than everybody else? The technology that we have built into an MFP, and what are some of those features, right? I also wanted to go over advanced features, some features that we recently gave capabilities to a multifunctional product, and it deals with the current environment that we're in now, the pandemic, right? Some of the technology that we have that can help you in this environment that we're in right now. And of course, I am going to talk about security, because security ties everything in as far as the multifunctional product's concerned. So before I go into the product, I want to just talk a little bit about Sharp Electronics. So we've been around a long time, over 100 years. It's a Tokyo-based company, right? Their very first technology is the Eversharp mechanical pencil. So do you remember the pencils where you hit the button and the lead comes out? That was actually invented by Sharp. But since then, of course, our core technologies has been LCD panels, multifunctional printing devices, what I'm going to talk about today, and all the consumer stuff, microwave ovens, air conditioner, cash registers, right, flash memory. So we're pretty much the full gamut of technology that's out there. So in our B2B market, we focus on professional displays, multifunctional products, and laser printers, right? But in 2016, there was a major shift in Sharp. So Foxconn purchased 66% of Sharp's voting stock. And at the time, we weren't 100% sure what that would mean for us, you folks, our customers, right? But it became and evolved into a very good thing, and I'll go over that here in a second. So our revenue for 2019 was $21.6 billion. So it kind of gives you an idea of what you're dealing with if you partner with us. So who is Foxconn? So Foxconn's a company, right, that's $159 billion in revenue in 2019. They are a big company. In fact, they're the 10th largest employer in the world with over 1.2 million employees, the 24th largest company in the world. They're famous for making every iPhone and iPad. But I got to tell you, 49% of the electronic gadgets that are out there are probably made, developed, engineered by Foxconn, right? That was a great partner for us to have, because it opened up so many doors for us when it comes to technology. And Foxconn recently invested. They built a manufacturing plant in Wisconsin. Right now, out of that plant, we have our professionals displays made out of that plant. But as the future rolls on, there's going to be more and more products built out of that plant. So,
and Frank, if I may say so, just
sure.
Recently, that plant has been making the masks that for all of the people in the United States. They transferred over and they started making these masks so that everybody can be safe.
Yeah, good point. Thank you, Chad. Thank you. So going back to why Foxconn is such an important partner to us is because Foxconn, as I stated, makes 49% of the electronic gadgets out there. They not only make it, but they develop it with these partners, Microsoft, Google, Apple, Amazon, right? And now us with Sharp. And the reason why this is so important is now we have access to all the technology that relates to a multifunctional product and what you do every day with Microsoft 365, for example, with G Suite, maybe Google Drive, maybe Gmail, right? Amazon. You wouldn't think Amazon would be there, but Amazon came out with a product called a Echo or a Dot that everybody's familiar with at home. We're able to use that AI technology with our device, and I'll go here and I'll talk about that in a second, right?
And just very quickly, a lot of people don't realize that the technology used in those devices, and I'm purposely not saying the name so that nobody comes on and asks them what they want to have done. But that technology was developed by Foxconn, and they manufacture those devices for Amazon. So it's a great relationship, and it's shared with us.
Yeah, thank you, Chad. So for example, we are already Microsoft 365. We integrate with that. We integrate with Google Suite. The thing that we're looking for in the Apple product and their technology, and just picture this, is facial recognition. That's something we're looking into. So we're going to make this statement a little bit later. If you let the machine know who you are, right, it brings resources to you and just you, right? All your folders, all your email list, right? And when you send an email, it says it comes from you, not from the machine, and you get a copy of that email in your sent folder. So that identification, that user authentication, right, plays a big role with us now, right? If you let the machine know who you are, we can bring a lot of security, right, and a lot of value to that, right? And with facial recognition, that just makes everything so much easier. We're waiting for facial recognition to be a little bit more secured. It's not secured like we like it, but at least it's on the table for us to maybe when that comes to that point of security, we'll implement it into our device, right? All the other manufacturers that Foxconn deals with is you see on the left-hand side. So there's a lot of companies they make a product for. And we like to say that we're at the big kids table now because we're under that Foxconn umbrella, right? Because that gave us access to all the technology that you use every day, right? Whether it be Microsoft 365, right, or Google, if you're a Google house, right? We can bring that technology to Sharp. So before I go into the line, I just want to talk about this one award just really quick because it's a big one for us, right? It's actually the biggest award that's given to any copier manufacturer that's out there, and it's called BLI Line of the Year. And what that means that not only one device, not only two devices, I'm talking about all our devices won a highly recommended award from BLI. That's why we have the Line of the Year, and that is a hard award to achieve, right? Because we're talking about testing for reliability, testing for technology, testing for ease of use, testing for security. So we won awards in all those categories that gave us the Buyers Lab Line of the Year. And if you go to YouTube, I actually have a link on the bottom. But if you go to YouTube and you type in Sharp Buyers Lab Line of the Year, you'll see a video of how that is given to us. They test everything in a machine, right? In fact, that's this next slide right here. So they keep each machine for 2 months and they test it. They test reliability. They test, how many jams happens, right? And from what I understand, majority of our machines didn't jam until 1.5 million prints. Let me say that again, didn't jam until 1.5 million prints. So they really run these machines and make sure that, we get the reliability of the year. So the name of the game to get the Line of the Year is you have to have the most highly recommended awards per machine. So, and we were able to achieve that 2019. And I'm going to talk about the technology that gave us this award here. And it would apply to a law firm office, from an attorney to a office manager, right? And even on the security side, that's another thing I forgot to mention. They test the security. So what we say actually works, right? From an IT perspective, that's that's huge, right? So they know our device is secured from a user standpoint, from a device standpoint as well. So this is that line I'm talking about. So this is everything from a desktop model, right, black, white, or color, all the way to 120 page a minute black and white, to a 80 page a minute color, and everything in between. Where we really shine is that office work group section that you see there. That is majority of our business, and you'll find all the features are exactly the same. They're exactly the same. So if I taught you something on a 60 page a minute, it's the same exact interface that it would be on a 26 page a minute, and everything in between. So, and we'll go over that too, as far as similarities, right? Let me start with a little bit of the technology here. So standard out of the box, we have what's called Cloud Connect. What that is built in the box. You just have to enable or disable it, you know, we have OneDrive connectors, we have SharePoint connector, right? We have an Exchange connector built into the machine. So that's the Microsoft 365 integration I was talking about earlier, right? So we also have Google integration as well, Google Drive, Gmail. We still have Google Cloud Print version 2 in there, but we know Google Cloud Print's going away. But we're keeping that functionality in the machine, because you can use Google Cloud Print as a local solution. So we kept it in there. And we also do Dropbox and Box. So if you have, or if your business or if your law firm actually uses any of these software, we can integrate it directly into the device by just turning it on in the device. There's no software I have to load. It's all embedded into the machine itself. Right.
So what that really means, everybody, is the fact that you can scan directly into your accounts, and you can print directly from those accounts as well, without having to do it through your computer. You can walk up to the system, sign in, and be able to print and scan directly into your accounts.
And that's including email too. So if you use Exchange or Outlook or Google, Gmail, right? When I scan that document to email, it says it's from me. It's not from the machine, right? And I also get a copy of it in my sent folder in Outlook. So that's
you're actually signed into your accounts, your email accounts.
Yeah. So there are questions of, so does that mean I have to log in every time, you know, type in my credentials? There's a way, like the statement that I said before, if you let the machine know who you are, it will actually bring up your account only. Meaning if you log in with a 5-digit code by typing your 5-pin number, a 5-digit PIN number, or if you put in your username and password, or if you have proximity cards, right, where you just use your proximity card, tap the machine, right, it knows who you are. When that happens, all your resources come to you, your Exchange account, your OneDrive account, your Google Drive account. So I don't have to relog again. We call it single sign-on. And I'll go into that a little bit in detail a little bit later. So what manages this, we brought easy cloud management to our machine too. So there is an app portal on the panel. You have to be an administrator to get to it, where you can add those applications, or if you want to delete the applications, or even if there's an update, and I'll show you what that looks like in the next slide. The other partner we partnered with was Adobe. So partner with Adobe. Adobe gave us an embedded print engine. So our drivers are not only true Adobe, but our machines itself is true Adobe. What does that mean? So I will get correct color, more efficient, faster PDF printing from the cloud. Because when I print from the cloud, I'm not printing through a driver. I'm not using a driver at all. But with an Adobe embedded print engine, it doesn't matter, because now all the Adobe algorithms is in my print controller. So if I pull that document down from the cloud, right, I'm using the true Adobe algorithms like I'm using. So my fonts are going to be correct. My color is going to be correct, because that's all in my machine, which is huge, right?
A lot of people don't realize that when you're printing from devices like mobile devices, phones, tablets, things like this, you're not using a driver. And so the accuracy of that document is dependent upon really nothing. This Adobe embedded print engine takes the place of the driver. So now printing from the cloud, printing from devices, printing from anything other than a computer allows you to have the integrity that the documents should have.
Yeah, what you see is what you get.
Exactly.
Basically. So being in this pandemic environment right now, you know, people are looking to touch the machine a lot less, right? So that's where the Foxconn partnership came into play. So now you can take an Echo or a Dot, put it on in a tray. We actually have a holder now, and operate the machine through voice. So like you're at home and you say, Alexa, turn on Pandora, right? Or Alexa, what time is it, right? Now you could say, Alexa, make me 5 copies with a staple, and the functionality will work, right? And I'll go a little bit more details of what those functionalities are. The other thing we've added too is new leading edge security, and I'll go over some of the things that we've added. What we have currently now and what we've always had, and we won awards on that, and we enhanced that feature through adding more security features. So I also wanted to talk about device management, right? How do you manage all these devices, right? So we do have a software, and I'll go over that gives you the ability to manage devices, right? So let me talk about that Cloud Connect software and how that's managed. It's through an application portal, and it's a button that can be on the control panel, and you have to be an administrator to, once you hit that button, it's going to ask you to log in as administrator. But from there, this is where I can add apps, delete apps, just like your phone. It's exactly like your phone, right? And similarity to your phone, if there are any updates, that little button will come up with a little information logo on there, and you hit that button, log as an admin, and you can go to your app and you'll see an update button under that app. So as we know, applications change all the time, especially security platforms within those applications change all the time. That's why you're always updating your phone, right? There's a new security feature that comes out, right? Microsoft 365 does it all the time with OneDrive and SharePoint. So you'll always be updated to the latest version through this application portal. It's kind of a neat thing to organize all the cloud applications as that's what you do. This is that Amazon Alexa I was telling you about. So MFP voice feature gives you the ability to operate the machine without touching the machine itself. So being in this environment, right, the less you touch community devices, probably the better, right? You don't have to wipe it down as much, so on and so forth. So if you need to make a copy, you can put your document in the feeder and say, Alexa, make 5 copies stapled, and it will do that for me. The other feature that I can do with this, the Alexa feature, the voice enablement feature, is scanning as well. So if you turn authentication on, like I said, the machine knows who you are. I could say, Alexa, scan to me, and it'll scan to my email without touching the machine. It will actually perform that without touching any buttons on the machine. So this will work on pretty much all of our work group. So everything from 26 pages a minute all the way up to 60 pages a minute, whether it be color or black and white, right? This feature will work.
Now, you do have to have an Amazon Alexa account in order for that to function.
Yeah, just like anything else. If you want to register for Pandora, if you want Pandora on Alexa, you got to register your Amazon account for Pandora or any functionality, right? It's no difference for us. Right? This is that Adobe embedded print engine we talked about, right? So it just makes ripping much faster, gives me the correct fonts, right? It gives me correct color, right? This is huge if you print a lot of PDF documents. This is the most efficient way to print a PDF file. If not only my driver has it, but my machine has all the algorithms for printing Adobe PDFs, right? Especially if I'm pulling the document. If I'm pulling the document from the cloud, I'm not using a driver.
Now, one thing that is really nice about this as well, other than the things I've already said, is it can increase speed up to 72% in printing the document out. So it really enhances all aspects of printing from all of these devices.
Yeah, no translation needed. Makes it faster. So one thing we want to talk about, and this is one of the awards that we want, it is easy to use. If you're comfortable with your phone, right, or tablet, you'll be comfortable with our control panel. And the nice thing about our control panels, it's the same from 26 page a minute all the way to 90 page a minute on the black and white. On the color side, it's 26 page a minute all the way to 80 pages a minute, and everything in between. It's this same control panel. So again, if I train you on a 60 page a minute, it's going to be the same on the 26, on a 30, 35, on a 65, on a 75. It's the same control panel, and it is totally customizable. So if you want just copy and email buttons on there, we could just put those two buttons on, right? And they're big icons, as you see there. They're easy to add or remove those buttons, right? Of course, you have to be an administrator to do that, right? We don't want to give everybody the capability to do that, but if you know the password, you'll be able to customize the screen. Now, if you turn user authentication on, when you log in, you could just see your applications, right? Maybe all you care about is 2 applications, but maybe when Chad logs in, he wants all the application because he uses all the functionality that this machine has to offer. So we can make this customizable or as simple as you want the control panel to be. So
you can have up to 18 icons on the screen if you want to. They, of course, they get smaller, and it looks like an iPad. You can have, with the authentication, this can be completely customizable, including one-touch buttons, where if you have a job you do on a regular basis, you can customize the button to have all of the commands so you don't have to go in and do the selection, or that you have a starting point.
And you can call that custom button whatever you want. Maybe it's financial reports or court documents, or whatever you want to name that button. So once you hit that button, all the features are already enabled. 3-hole punch, or stapled, or scan to email. It could be scan to email. It goes to 20 different people by just hitting this one button. So it's
you can build the 20 people that it goes to in that button. So yeah, you're not having to do that again and again and again. Yeah.
And again, all those features that we talked about in the control panel is one of the reasons why we want to award ease of use. So one of the features of the control panel, right, and this was given award for us too, this feature is, so I take a document and I put it in the feeder and I scan to email. I'm hoping that documents I just scanned are the ones that are supposed to go to that person, right? Hopefully it's not a page that I didn't want them to see. So that's why we created this technology called image preview. So besides the copy start button or the scanning start button, right, there is a little button called preview. When I put my document in the feeder and say it's 50 pages, right, I hit preview. What will show on the screen is each page will roll in one time. And once I see all the pages, I can scroll with my finger to see every page that I want. If something was scanned incorrectly, maybe the orientation is incorrect, I can fix it electronically. I do not have to rescan the document in. Saves time, right? Where I can go from portrait to landscape, maybe, right? Or maybe the pages are out of order. Maybe page 10 is supposed to be page 5, right? Or maybe page 20 is not a page I want them to see. I can click on it and throw it in the trash can. So there's a lot of functionality with image preview. Then once I'm done, all I have to do is hit edit end and just release my print job, whether it be sending it as an email, sending it as a scan to folder, sending it to scanning to the cloud, or even copying feature. You want to put it on a piece of paper, right? You can preview this document before you release it. So
one of the really nice features of it also is it really comes in handy if you have two-sided originals and there's information on the back of a page or on one of the pages that you don't want to include. Maybe it's out-of-date information. You can actually go in and remove the back sides as well. And the other feature that is really strong is you can do what I call white redaction. Redaction usually is a black box over top of a part of a page. But in this case, you can actually go in and draw a box that doesn't show black. It shows white space over top of that document. And if you're scanning, it actually removes that information from the scanned document. So there's no way anybody can hack their way in to find out what it is.
And that's all part of the security, right?
Yeah.
I want to redact an area, and I don't want anybody to see it. It's all part of the security, right? Speaking of scanning, so we can scan PDF, TIFF, all the JPEG, all the image files. The other thing that we have is called OCR. So if I want to edit a document, say in this case right here, it shows an invoice, right? It could be a document, and I need to make edits to it. I can scan it as a Word document, so I can make those edits. So it'll scan as a Word document. I can open it up, right? It'll actually open up in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, right? It will scan in those file formats if you need it in those files formats. The most popular one, especially in the legal market, is searchable PDF, right? Because I'm going to look for that document later. So I just use the PDF search engine to find that document. So we could scan it as searchable PDF. And again, this is all standard out of the box. There's nothing I have to add. This technology is already in the box. So another popular feature, again, this is a feature that's built in the machine, is if you copy a lot of receipts, maybe you copy a lot of odd-sized checks, right? I can take the feeder out of the equation. So a lot of reasons why people cannot scan these documents, because they'll never make it through the feeder, right? But if I put it on the glass, I don't want to put one in at a time, right? That takes too long as well. So what we created was a technology called Multicrop Scan. So what it is in this example right here, I have 3 receipts, right? I put it on the glass. I leave the lid open, right? The board open, and I put the receipts on the glass. It will take one scan of it, right, and give me 3 individual files. So whatever you could fit on that 11 by 17 glass, it could be 10 receipts. If you could fit 10 receipts on that glass, it will scan it once and give me 10 different receipts. It saves time, right? It gives me individual files, right? So I don't have to put one in at a time, right? It makes it much more efficient copying checks or receipts. So, or odd size documents. The other feature that we've added, and this was a request from a majority of our dealers to have this kind of this capability. So the caveat of this, it only works within your organization. It does not work outside your organization, just within it, within the domain. So let's say, for example, I wanted to scan a 50-page color document to Joan and Chad. We all work for Sharp, right? If I were to scan that to email, it would probably never make it because the file size is so big, right? But I need to get it to them. So we put this feature called Send Destination Link. What this is, when I enable it, right, when I hit that checkbox and enable it, and I take that 50-page document, right, I scan that document holds in the hard drive, right? What Joan and Chad receives is an email with a little link on it, right? And if they want that file, they just click on that link. Now that big size file goes through the network. It never goes through the email server, it never goes through, takes that email bandwidth, it goes through the network, right? And they could save it wherever they want to save it. So this gives you the ability to scan large size documents without sending it through the email server. What the person receiving that email is just a link, right? Now, as an IT person, I can set it where you have an hour to download that, or up to 72 hours, everything in between. 24 hours, you have one day to to download that document or that link expires, right? That's to help keep the hard drive clean, or you don't have a bunch of documents on the hard drive, right? So you can manage the retention time between 1 hour and 72 hours. It's kind of nice.
And this helps eliminate the sneaker net, or the thumb drive, carrying it from one desk to another.
Yeah, yeah. Or having to create a scan to folder destination, right? I'm just going to scan it to your email. I know it's going to make it if I have to send destination link. This became so popular. A lot of my customers have this as a default. They'll have this default. So the other thing standard out of the box is kind of nice is what we call serverless print release. And this could be locked down or wide open, however you want it. So I'm a user. I want to print a document. So I print a document. I walk up to machine number 1 and there's 10 people on it, right? Or if I look at the queue, right, there's like 10 jobs in the queue. I can always walk to another machine, right, and release that print job. So I can release that print job, follows me anywhere I go. Now, in this case, and this is standard out of the box, right, this will only work with a pool of 5 machines. 5 machines. So if you came to us and say, hey, you know what, I love that feature, I love that technology, well, we have a scalable solution for you. It's more software based, but we're able to do that, right? But standard out of box at no cost. This is a huge feature to have follow me print. So I print a job and I go to any place, to any machines in that 5 machine pool to release that print job, right? And that job could be locked down or it could be wide open, a big bucket, right? You see everybody's job. So I have customers who don't mind that, but I do have customers who say, I just want to see the users, my job only. So we can lock it down. No additional software needed for this feature. It's built in. One of the things we have too is if your law firm deals with accurate color, like you're printing out something, the logo has to be accurate, we do have embedded Pantone matching built into the machine on all of our color devices. So we know what Pantone 200 is because we partnered with X-Rite, who's the maker of Pantone, and they basically, working with them, gave us the formulas to hit Pantone 200 or Pantone Sharp logos, Pantone 186C, right? So we can hit the color by number as well now. So that's everything I talked about was features within the multifunctional product, right? No additional software needed. There's a lot of features there that we have. Actually, I just hit the tip of the iceberg, but I want to talk a little bit about some of the advanced or the particular advanced feature that deals with the COVID environment that we're in now, right? And the product is called Synapse. And I'll go a little bit what that is, right? So the whole thing is for Synapse, and our thought process about this is touching community devices less, right? And be able to print release and also scan to email, right? Using my phone. That operation's done through my phone, through an app, Synapse app through the phone, right? So all you have to do as far as going to the machine is put the document in the feeder, right? There's another thing you do. So the machine, to let the machine know who you are, there'll be a little sticker on the front. It's about the size of a quarter, right? That is the NFC sticker. So when I walk up to the machine with my phone, the phone's the only thing I need to carry and the phone's the only thing I'm going to touch. I tap that sticker. Now the machine knows who I am. So once I let the machine know who I am with my phone, now I have the ability to release my print jobs, right? The jobs that are secured with my domain credentials. So if you're a Microsoft 365 house, it's that username password that you always use. That's actually logging into the phone. So once you log into the phone with your credentials, right? You just tap that machine will know who you are. And the features that you could do with this is, like I said, print release. So this is kind of nice where I can have 20 machines with these little stickers on, right? And I print a job, it's protected by my domain credentials, and I release it with my phone. And how I tell the machine who I am is just touching that NFC tag that's attached to the machine, right? And then like I said, I have 20 machines with these tags on it. I walk up to one machine, there's a lot of people on it, and I can go to another machine and tap my phone. And what it does, it opens up my phone to show me all my print jobs that I've been printing, and I can release those print jobs. I can ask for 2 copies, I can ask for stapling, right? This makes it nice because I don't have to touch the copier, right? I don't have to touch it at all. In a normal print release, I have to either log in on the control panel or browse to my folder to release that print job. With this, it's actually released with your phone, and it is fast. It's very efficient. The other thing I can do is scan. I can scan, putting document in the feeder, and I go to that same app, right? I touch the tag, right? Knows who I am. Now I can scan to myself, right? I can scan to email distribution lists, and I only set that up once, right, within the app, or I can scan to a cloud storage site, right? So all these sites that you see, Dropbox, Microsoft 365, Box, Google Suite, right? We scan to all of them, right? We also print from all of them. Our latest version gave us the ability to print from them as well. So if I have a file in OneDrive that I need to print out, all I have to do is take my phone, tag the tag with my phone, and open up OneDrive OneDrive within my application, and I can browse my folder structure and release that print job, right? So the benefit of this is no user training, because I'm just using that app. Everything is run from the app, right? I don't even have to log in the MFP, right? Because my phone is logging in for me when I do this functionality. Everything is, all the tasks are completed with the app. I don't have to go outside the app to do anything. It's all within the app, right? And everything moves with you because you have your phone in your hand. Wherever machine I go to, that file moves with me, which is kind of nice. And more importantly is I don't have to touch the machine, right? Now, if you need to use the machine as a copier, right, that we go back to that voice enablement, right? So you would just tell the copier, Alexa, make me 5 copies, right? Then you can use that functionality as a copier without touching.
Excuse me. Well, we have somebody typing. If you're typing, could you please mute? Thank you.
Thanks, Chad. The other thing you could do with this app, right? So if you have a large display in your conference room, and we sell those, by the way. In fact, we just came out with a touch display that is conference room ready. When I mean conference room ready, it's got a 4K camera on it. It's got sensors in it, but it was made for a conference room. So if you have that, or if you have, doesn't have to be a Sharp display. If you have any display, I have the ability to go to that same software and browse my cloud of choice, OneDrive. And if I want to show her this PowerPoint presentation, all I have to do is select that PowerPoint presentation and tap the monitor, tap that display. It's going to have that same NFC tag on it that I talked about. That all I have to do is tap that. It transfers that file from my phone to the display. So I don't have to print it on paper. Maybe it's something I just want to show you real quick. All I have to do is walk up to the display, tap my phone, right? Open up the app, tap my phone, right? And the file will pop over. So very nice, very nice. I don't have to put anything on a piece of paper. I don't have to touch anything, right? Especially in this environment. It is an easy setup. You know, I just load an app on my phone, and I use my credentials to log into it, right? Whether it be Microsoft 365 or G Suite. We support both, right? And once you log in, you'll have access to all functionality that I just talked about. So it's very simple, very simple. We saved the best for last, Sharp Security. So Brian Bissett, he's one of the MFP reporters, and these guys are like watchdogs in our industry, like BLI is, and he wrote an article on Sharp Security. He's basically saying in this little this little wording here that we have elite software. We're one of the elites when it comes to security. I'm sorry, when it comes to security, we're one of the elites that are out there. So I just thought I wanted to show that to you, that we're just not touting ourselves. There are a third party that's touting us too. So
we've been
security
at the top of the security game for years, and we strive to always be at the very top.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Chad. So this is all of our security. If I were to go to every one of these bullets, we'd be here for 3 hours. So I just want to show you all the security that we have. And majority of everything you see here is standard out of the box. Standard out of the box. In fact, I'm looking at this. The only thing that's not standard out of the box is fax security, because fax is an option, right? But everything else on this list is standard out of the box. So that's the reason why we won awards on security is we pretty much cover the gamut. Anything that you can think of where a hacker can hack into the device, they're going to have a difficult time because of some of the things that we've had, right? The one thing we focused over the past year as far as security is, I would say 2 years. The main thing we focused in security in the past 2 years is the way our device sits on the network, right? And Chad, you're good at doing this. You want to talk about this?
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you're in an environment where you have multiple users and you're using Active Directory, this is Sharp's proprietary software. We're the only ones in the industry that do this. And if you work with an IT department, whether they're external or internal, when they hear this, they get excited because nobody else does this, and this increases their security level at a ridiculously high level. So what we're seeing on the screen right now is that most MFPs and printers attach to a network as printers. They are seen as printers. But if you look at an MFP, it's actually a scanner on top of a computer on top of a print device. And so Sharp has changed the game. They attach to networks as computers. So what happens is the smart part of the device is now communicating with the network, and it gives the IT department the same control over the MFP as they have over the computers. So this is where what Frank was saying earlier, authentication becomes so important because it can be set up using something called group policy. And what that means is that IT, on the day that you're hired, they give you permissions as to where you can go and what you can see on the network. So for instance, somebody in one department may not be able to see what's in the human resources department, or they may not see what's in administration or financial, but they can see all of the things that apply to their job. So the same thing can happen from the MFP. When you log into the MFP and it knows who you are, instead of scanning to a hot folder and then going back to your computer and having to go into that folder and move it into the folder you really wanted it to go to, you can browse and scan directly into the folder that you want it to go to, because you're permitted to see all of the folders you've been given permission for. So this really increases the strength of this. But the other aspects are that, as Frank was mentioning earlier, when you go to your computer and you boot up in the morning and you sign into it, I doubt very seriously if you have to sign into your email at the same time, because it uses this single sign-on. It automatically, it's the same password for your email that it is for logging into the system. So at this point, when you authenticate at the MFP, and the fastest and easiest way right now is a proximity card, but you can type in a password, you can type in a key number, and you are automatically signed into your email. you are also automatically signed into all of your cloud accounts, which means it knows who you are, so it saves the password in a very secure way. It actually uses a token that says that, yes, you have the correct password. When you authenticate in, it logs you into your cloud accounts also. So the thing that IT really hates about authentication is that they have to, if you're using proximity card, they have to manage that card in a 13-digit number, and they have to assign it to a specific person. And then that person, they have to make sure they get that particular card. In the case of what we are doing now, when you use the card for the first time, you log in as to who you are and your password, and it authenticates to the Active Directory, the same way your computer would do it. And the next time you swipe your card, it logs you into everything, which is really the advantage. Now, IT doesn't have to set up all those cards, and the end user doesn't have to remember all their passwords. And that's usually the complaint that end users have about authentication. So this Active Directory gives you a very, very strong increase in security, but it also gives you an additional variety of services that you wouldn't get otherwise. And this is a very strong feature that we've had now for 2 years, and we're still the only ones in the industry that have it.
Yeah, so basically we're a trusted device. So we're not only a device on the network, we're trusted because now we're a part of Active Directory. We're an object in Active Directory. So thanks, Chad. I really appreciate that. So these are some of the policies that you could apply to our device, right, to a user. Like, for example, if I log in, I only get black and white. But if Chad logs in, he gets color and black and white. But the IT person has to go to the machine to apply that rule. He stays within his Active Directory that he's more comfortable with and apply that policy. So I can apply, as Chad said, I can apply a policy to a user of how they can use the machine. Not only access, but how they use the machine. So this is kind of huge for us because now an IT person has to go to, say if I have access to 4 machines, I don't have to go to 4 machines to give me that right.
Yeah, one of the nice things, and I kind of mentioned this, but Frank explained it very well, is I can set that up in group policy. So what group policy means, all the people that have the same permissions or the same job description, IT creates groups for them. And when a new person comes in, they just put them into that group and they have all the same permissions. So you can control who has black and white and who has color in that group policy.
Yeah. So moving on, one of the other leading edge security we just added is called application whitelisting. So since we have the ability to connect to cloud solutions, right, whether it be the ones that I showed you, or maybe it's a third-party cloud solution, right, that we support. And we have over 30 different partners that make cloud solutions that we have a connector to, right? The problem is if you want to be able to block certain cloud applications from even going to the machine, so what we added to our machine was called application whitelisting. So an IT person, much like a computer, that's no different than a computer, I can apply applications on a whitelist, and those, if you're on the whitelist, it's a trusted entity, so it can hit my machine. So this is something we add. This is a huge thing for us to create a whitelist, right? And again, this is a more of the elite part of the security that's out there. So
what most companies do is they use blacklisting, which is when an application proves itself to be dangerous, it's a virus or something like that, it goes on a blacklist. And when something comes in and wants to install itself, it checks the blacklist. If it's on the blacklist, it won't let it be installed. But if it's something new that nobody's found out is dangerous, it's installed because it's not on the blacklist. What this does is it reverses that, and only trusted applications are put on the whitelist. It looks at the whitelist and it says if it's not on the whitelist, doesn't get installed. So it keeps you from being the canary in the coal mine.
Thanks, Chad. So the other feature that we've added as far as our security suite is firmware attack self-recovery, or we call it self-healing. So if somebody wanted to be malicious to your MFP, say if they were to get inside your network, which would be very difficult, but we add one more layer to that too. So if they want to be malicious to your MFP, what they're going to do is they're going to go to the main firmware. They're going to do it through the firmware, right, and infect the firmware. That totally downs your machine. But what we have is the self-recovery. So the ICU, the main ICU where the firmware is located, will always check itself, right? We call it hashing. It'll constantly check itself, right? If it sees one of the hash values to be incorrect because somebody was trying to hack in, right, it will automatically reboot to a known good firmware. And what's nice about our system is it will notify IT that somebody tried to change the firmware, right? They'll get an email saying somebody's trying to change the firmware, right? And it's usually somebody trying to hack into the machine, right? And so we have a feature that prevents that from happening, and also notification. So one more thing I want to talk about is fleet management. So we have all these great features. We all have all these capabilities. How do I manage them, right? I have this software called Sharp Remote Device Manager that gives administrator control of how I want to configure the devices. As you can see, there's an image there of all the list of the machines that are in my organization. And from my desk, I can click on it and I can configure my security. I have a security dashboard. If I need to adjust my security, I don't have to go to the machine. I just go here to this app and create a security policy right from here. I can manage all my passwords, right? I can manage all my power management all through this app. This will also tell me if my machine's online or offline. It gives me a lot of information. So this is a management tool at no extra cost. It's 100% value with no extra cost. So free download. And of course, we would go out there and train them how to do this, but it's a great tool to have.
You know, Frank, one thing that wasn't on any of the slides that I think is also important for them to know. What was it, about a year and a half ago, there was this big scare about hacking through fax systems that are on MFPs.
Yeah.
And that can't happen on our system. When that scare came up, everybody was calling us, hey, we're in, are we safe? Are we safe? The fax boards are completely separate. They are not part of the operating system of the MFP. So there's no possible way anybody can get into the network through the fax board. So that's another security feature that you can be assured of.
Yeah. Yep. Like I said, we have a lot of security features. If you want to know more, we'd be happy just to have a presentation just on the security part. But I got to warn you, it'd be a long presentation because we have so many features. So I think that's it for Chad and I as far as the presentation is concerned, at least on the Sharp part. If you have any questions, please type them in or email us. You can email Judy, and we'll certainly answer the question for you. And I think that's it. So I'll hand this back to Judy and Joan.
Thank you so much, Chad and Frank. That was a lot of information. And once again, to the attendees, we appreciate your time spending the last hour plus with us. If you have any questions, please put those questions in the chat and we will answer them either now or like Frank had said, feel free to reach out to me at any point. So just a reminder, CopyLink is one of the bar benefit providers with vetted pricing. Just for bar members, we have the copiers, printers, and interactive whiteboards. We went over today a lot of things about cybersecurity, a few things on document management, and it all kind of sums up into office efficiency. So just to remind you, we will train you on anything. We'll do one-on-one presentations about any of the topics that we discussed today. And I would love a chance to meet with you one-on-one and or with our team from Sharp and help you out with any questions you have. So please type those questions in the chat right now if you have any. And just to end everything, this recording will also be available through the Bar Association in their library. But this last slide is my contact information, my direct cell line and my email. We also have a landing page on the Copy Links webpage just for the legal vertical for the Bar Association. So one of the things I want to remind all of you that in this time of expense control with COVID and all of us looking at all of our expenses with a fine-tooth comb, I would love to take a look at what you're currently in, your current contract, and if we can save you some money with the Bar Association pricing, I would be more than happy to pass that on to you and would love the opportunity. So let's see if we have any questions.
Nothing yet.
Okay. Well, you have all of our contact information